Okay, so I'm Philippe. Some people know me as Book. I wear pink, and I think I can blame London PM for this. I'm a Perl developer. I don't have that many books, it's just Wendy's library. But I have one of those triangles, plastic triangles, at home. And I work for Booking.com. Did you know we're hiring? We're also, up until now, we're still the biggest sponsor of the conference. And I've been working there for 38,000 days. And so I'm in the Lyon office. And when I'm not taking a very long lunch break, enjoying, because Lyon claims to be the capital of French cuisine, right? So sometimes we eat sandwiches, but not always. Warning, the next slide may be, the vegans and vegetarians may not want to look at the next slide. So that's some of the specialities of Lyon. And when I'm not enjoying one of those long lunch breaks, I go to my dojo, where I practice Aikido. This is a martial art that was created in the 1930s by this guy. And he died in the, and so this is a martial art, but the paradox is that its founder named it the art of peace, which is a bit in contradiction with the term martial. And everybody knows him with this face and not that face, because he died very old in 1969. This book was published. I don't say he wrote these books, but it's a collection of quotes. So it's actually very expensive, because most of the pages are white. Anyway, there will be some quotes from him in the talk, and they come from this book. So Aikido is a martial art, but it's really about not killing your opponent, but killing the fight. And we try really hard to, not basically what he says, right? Not injure the opponent. You control the aggression without, trying as much as you can to avoid injury. Also, everything we do is stage fights, so it's usually not too dangerous. Like I often say, if you attack me with a real knife, I don't know what to do. I only know how to deal with wooden knives. So this is the typical class, right? We start by saluting the portrait of the founder, because he died like 40 years ago. And then we salute the teacher. And then some warm-up. And then the teacher shows a move. And the students do the move. One thing I didn't say, you notice that some of the people have the hakama, the type of robes, and some don't. It's because there are no levels in the class. It's all mixed. And you can be at your first class, and the person at the other end of the tatami will have 15 years of experience. Everybody is in the same class, we practice the same moves, and actually the more ancient students like to go with the newbies, because that's how you learn the best. And also you can teach. So then the teacher shows another move, and the students repeat the move, and it shows another move, and we repeat, and again, more complex, until, more and more complex, until the end of the class, where we salute the teacher again, and salute the sensei, and then we go to the showers, but I don't have photos. And then I'm back to work. This is actually an old photo, that's 2 years ago. Nowadays my desk looks like this. And now you're going to say, okay, you're not wearing enough pink. So I have a fix for that. Sorry?
We have pink lights as well.
Okay. Now I'm ready. Did I mention I work for Booking.com? Okay.
Are you hiring?
Yes, we are. Okay, come talk to me after. So when I'm at work, it's a very diverse. So it's a very diverse company. Just the IT department has hundreds of, well, maybe not hundreds, but at least 100 different nationalities. And even in my own team, I think we're right now we used to be in three different nationalities, but now we're more. And basically, in 10 people, we have like 8 nationalities and 3 continents. So it's really, really diverse. And sometimes that makes communication, a little bit complicated because we have different cultures, different language. So we all speak a different level of broken English. Maybe it sounds like I'm complaining about my team, but I'm not, because I think my team is a real gift. And as you know, the English say, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And I'm doing a talk about communication, and this is actually one of the few sentences where you can do literal translations and don't get it wrong. So in French we say, à cheval donné on ne regarde pas les dents. In Italian they say, a caval donato non si guarda in bocca. And can anyone tell me how you say this in German, for example? Your turn will come.
Einem geschenkten Gaul schaut man nicht ins Maul.
And it means exactly the same thing. So now you know German. But it's actually only one of the few such sentences. Possibly if you're in a culture where there are no horses, maybe you don't say it this way either. So for example, when it rains a lot, the British says it's raining cats and dogs. But the French say il pleut des cordes. It's raining ropes. Actually, we have several ways to do it, to say it, sorry. So we can also say il pleut des halbardes. And we even have another way of saying it, but I won't show it slide because it's il pleut comme vache qui pisse. And the Dutch say het regent pijpen stellen. Does any Dutch person want to correct me? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And again, if someone from a different nationality wants to tell us how they say how much when it's raining a lot, and then translate it into English? Volunteers? No volunteers? Yay. Come closer.
Just try to make a joke. In Norwegian we can say møkkavær, which literally means shitty weather, but...
I know that in some Western European countries they say it's raining old ladies, for example. Or, sorry? Which is?
Saying it's raining frogs.
Frogs, okay, yeah. I think in Egypt also sometimes it rains frogs. Okay, actually, let's put some science in this. So this is a scientific article. I was about to say serious, but not really. This was published in a scientific journal. And it is on this really difficult topic of communication. And it talks about how, I think it's based basically on their experience having a diverse team of people with Dutch and British working together. And they have communication problems. For example, when an English person says, quite good, what they actually mean is a bit disappointing. But what the Dutch understands is quite good. And when the The British says, I almost agree. They mean I don't agree. And of course the Dutch understand they almost agree. And when the British say not bad, they actually mean very good. But the Dutch understand really bad, very poor. Okay, so that's a quote from the article, which basically says what I've just been saying, which is the British are being extremely cautious when they talk to people, and they are being, trying to not hurt feelings, and the Dutch don't care about that thing, and so they everything you say to them, they take it literally. But the Dutch, I had the issue. I had a British team leader, and I had to tell him, please be blunt, because I only found out that I sucked at the performance review. Because all the time he was saying, yeah, not bad, fine. But there is worse than the Dutch. We really like to take things literally. Actually, we're really more about the hard, cold, Boolean truth. Okay, let me use a metaphor now. Does anybody in the room like alcohol? Raise your hand. Okay, but there's a caveat. You like alcohol, but you do not like beer. Oh, first row, excellent. So, Dom, you'll be my guinea pig. So I want to explain to Dom how nice a beer can be. So I'll take a beer. Sorry, I took a local beer. And I live in Lyon, so it's not local anymore. Anyway, I will send it to him. So I'll put some wrapping around it for the post office, and I need to write the address on it, and then I'll send it to them. And then I go to the post office and I'll ship it. That might mean not so. This metaphor was to tell you that it's not just content. What you put around it is important too. Yeah. So. The problem is I have to have the next slide in my head. That's really difficult. Okay, enough with metaphor. You want actual examples. And so I'll give you an example from my own experience, because everything that I'll be saying now is not, at best it's advice, but it's more like my experience in communication and how I have tried to fix my own communication with other people. So, yeah, that's a blank slide, good. So in 2014, the company had tech day, and I did a presentation about how our code was horrible, which is always a good topic. I mean, everybody's always complaining about it anyway. So, and so the code is really big. So I mostly found my examples by asking people and then grabbing for things that looked about the same, and then looking at the examples and showing them on screen, vaguely anonymizing them. But some of them were so bad that people actually recognized their own code. And it was not always bad. Sometimes we go fast, so we don't spend too much time on making things pretty. And after the presentation went well. People were happy. Someone came to me after that, after the talk, and said, yeah, I know this regular expression where I use $18. Yeah, that's definitely me. Fun, yeah, good. And then after that, I got an email from someone who wasn't at the presentation, but didn't like it. And it was a little bit passive-aggressive. And that's where you're really glad to be interacting with asynchronous media. So email, it's a very well-known thing that you should write the angry email and then delete it. So I replied to the email. I'm using different colors so you can see who's talking. And I first started by, saying this was for fun, and I didn't want to offend anyone. The goal was everybody laughs, not somebody comes afterwards saying, why did you say bad thing about my team and my code? And I apologized for having hurt him. And then I addressed his points. So, yes, of course, I want it to be fun. That's, exactly the point. But yes, I'm interested in facts. And then the conversation got on. But the really, really nice thing about this exchange, so it's one angry email and one apologizing reply. That is his answer. So instead of escalating, I said, I stepped on his toes, I said sorry, and it's done. And actually, it was better than that, because I then got into the facts and got into the details, and he apologized again for the facts. So that was nice. And he never punched me in the face, so that's a good thing too. I don't think there are any fixed techniques for communication. And actually, so one thing I didn't say about the Aikido classes is once you've done a year of classes, you've done all of them. Because every year it just starts again. There are not an infinite number of moves. Actually, I think there are numbered from 1 to 5. And the point of these classes is to practice with different people so you know yourself better and you know how to better interact with whatever comes at you. And so when he says the appropriate response should emerge naturally, that's because you don't have to think anymore, because your body does all the thinking. So, it's different every time. So let's look at a different example. This one's on IRC, so it's still asynchronous, but you don't have the whole night to think of your answer. So someone went to the team channel asking for, so it was a user asking for help. And I said, okay, sure, give me some logs and I can help you and look at it. But really, I'll just start by doing probably the obvious thing, which is Google the error message, which is basically this algorithm for fixing problems. And he didn't like this. So basically, I made a joke, and that didn't go well. So of course I said, yeah, I was just, saying that I'm not that experienced, so I will probably do the things that people who don't know anything do, which is Google for it. And then in private, I said, I was making fun of myself, not you. And yeah, okay, he admitted he was a little bit frustrated by this problem that he couldn't fix, and the first thing the thing you don't want when you're saying you have a problem is people making jokes, even if it's not at your expense. And if you look at the time, yeah, 10:30. So he reassured me in private, and then for the sake of the public conversation said, yeah, don't worry about that. And then we worked on this, we fixed this problem. And again, I forgot to highlight this, but again he said, sorry for the drama. Which was, that's all the drama, right? So it's not much of a drama anyway. But again, it's just the idea that someone comes at you unhappy, and you could either tell them they're an idiot or try to make things better. I think the important part of this quote is really never despise anyone, or at least don't show it. Yeah, okay, so I said live demo, so you're going to have a live demo. I'm going to do a live demo. Okay, it starts now. Did you see it? Was I too fast? Yeah, I didn't get into the fight, that's true. But actually what I did is smile. And I think that's a very powerful technique. And I mean, the sensei says so, so it's probably true. And the funny thing to me, I realized that when I write an email and I type a smiley, I'm usually smiling when I do it. So you can influence your own feelings and behavior by smiling. So in conclusion, and there will be time for questions for sure. In conclusion, kill the fight before it starts, so nobody gets hurt. If you offend someone, apologize. If you hurt someone, apologize. When in doubt, apologize. It's cheap, and it soothes things. And practice, practice, practice. It's the only way to get better at anything. And this is my real conclusion. Being nice doesn't make you weak. I think actually it's a show of strength to be nice to people. And being nasty doesn't make you strong. These are completely, orthogonal things. And with this I'm done, but I have bonus slides. So I said maybe I should have waited for a little round of applause and then go on the bonus slides. I don't know. Yeah. Contrary to Mark, I'm not fishing for gifts, I'm just fishing for applause. So yeah, I said these are two orthogonal things. So you can imagine things as these two directions of, where you are on the scale of nice and nasty, and where you range on the direction of right and wrong. It's actually not completely the same thing, because wrong or right, it's, you are... Wrong or right is a state, but being nice or nasty is an action. And you can only influence one of them. You cannot really decide that you're right. It's something, on any topic, either you believe in the incorrect thing or you believe in the correct thing. And, well, so I don't think anybody wants to be in this quadrant. No, I mean...
That's where the bullies are.
The bullies and the trolls. Yeah. I don't think this place is good either. So actually, I want to start... No, sorry. A lot of people think it's good to be here. The important thing is to be right. But I actually believe that it's better to start nice, and being wrong or right is going to fix itself, basically. Or if that needs to be fixed, I probably need someone else. So, if I'm being nasty, it's not... I will drive the people away, and I will never move from wrong to right. And now I am ahead of my slides. So anyway, my goal is to be here, here, here. No, here is fine. I like it. Everybody's looking at me. So being right and being nice. And usually you're in one of those two spots, because we're not trolls and we're not the other thing that I forgot because I didn't write it. Sorry?
It looks like an eye test. Follow the dots.
The problem is, it's actually really hard to move from nasty and right to nice and right. Because basically when you start nasty, people will be afraid or annoyed, or basically they will go away. And to me, it's much easier to do this movement. And so basically stay in the nice zone all the time and hope that if you're wrong, the other person will correct you. And then I am arrived at my destination, and this is the real end of the talk. Thank you. And so we have time for questions.
I actually have one colleague who is afraid to apologize because he thinks that is admission to failure.
Yeah, that's...
What kind of advice could I give him? I'm not his boss, so he's not afraid of me. He's afraid of someone else.
Smile.
Yeah, smile. Smile is a good thing, but I think, just try it. Try once and see what happens.
You go next.
Also, a comment that I used to give a lot of support.
Oh, sorry.
And I always thought I was better at it than others, because others would give support and the recipient would fail to understand the response, and the giver of the response would say, "You're an idiot." And I never did that. I would say, "You haven't understood." It took me a long time to learn to say, "I'm sorry, I've been unclear."
Mm-hmm.
And that helps so much.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to answer to Mchain. Perhaps you could tell your colleague that failure is a great way to learn. So then he probably wouldn't be... Oh. Okay, then give him a hug.
I had a third example, actually, of email conversation where I don't remember the details, but basically someone was asking really, really stupid questions and pasting the error messages, but obviously not reading them. And so this is when you have the easy option of doing the snarky answer. And, because basically a mailing list, a technical mailing list, is also a stage. And whenever you send an email, you're on stage, and so it's really easy to start a comedy show and making fun of the guy who asked the stupid question, for the enjoyment of your peers who know the answer to the question, or at least know how to find the answer. And so in that particular case, I don't exactly remember, but basically the point was insisting on the error message and slowly getting him to give more detail and not only point at the documentation, but actually quote it so that he could see exactly what the error message meant and stuff like that. And in the end, again, he apologized for taking your time and said that he was going to go and learn stuff. So instead of a quick, snarky answer that would have made a few people laugh and then forget it because it's like a 5-second thing, I spent a little bit more time so that the person would not, because if you do the snarky answer, the guy will be, okay, you're all idiots making fun of me and not helping me, I don't know what I'm doing here, you suck, I'm going to go learn Python. So that was also interesting. And I really made a conscious effort of, okay, I have this really funny line I could say, I'm going to keep it for myself and laugh on my own, and I will try to go the hard way and make the effort of helping. I could also just ignore the thing and go away. I mean, if it's really wasting my time, I just don't answer, right? So there's always a choice. And I think that went well, and probably the guy is still asking stupid questions, but they will be less and less stupid over time, so good thing, I guess.
Okay, another example. I'm a vegan and a cyclist, so in short, I try to not kill the planet. Unfortunately, with that, there comes some kind of feeling of entitlement. So when I'm riding a bicycle and someone is passing me with like no security distance, I would, come up to them and, hey, asshole, have you ever heard of keeping distance? It's my life on the line, not yours. So what's the reaction gonna be? Of course, it's like, you have no business being there and I have no time for this, and go off. And I have literally been reported to the police after being hit by a car. and they reported me. And the policeman apologized for that because it's ridiculous. But such instances just kill my mojo for the day. They help no one. So when it happened again, someone was passing me, and it was this bald, muscular guy driving a BMW. So, of course, a mindless asshole. And I come up to him at the next red light, and this time I tried a different approach. I motioned for him to please roll down the window, and I was, oh, sorry to bother you, but could you please keep some distance, because I was very much surprised, and this is a very dangerous situation. So his reaction was quite surprising. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I was unaware of that, and of course I will the next time. And his and my day were much better afterwards, and it might have probably accomplished something for a change.
And you probably save someone's life in the future.
Maybe, yes. But just ignoring the initial reaction of, I'm right and he's the fuck wrong and I need to show him this, and just being friendly made all the difference in the world.
Hello? How many Aikido practitioners are there in the room? How many people practice Aikido in this room?
Aren't you supposed to raise your hand? Book.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not so muscular, so I can't do that for too long.
And sorry? Yeah, or did?
I think Larry did. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done.